So, wait, no, let me do the other one. Yeah, it's
There
better.
you go. Yeah. Do you get it?
Or let me just do this. There you go.
Full on.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Today is another brand new episode of Reels on Wheels.
Yeah.
And we're going to go bust some ghosts.
Yeah, because we ain't afraid no ghosts.
We're going to see Ghostbusters,
Yeah.
the 2016 all-female Paul Feig.
I'm psyched.
Or what's his name?
You have
So
already
yeah,
seen it.
spoiler alert. I actually saw it already.
Mhm.
And I don't think we need to talk about how amazing the original Ghostbusters is.
Or maybe we do. It's just so good.
Yeah,
The
one of my
flow.
favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Easily quotable.
Totally.
There was the one year we dressed up
Yeah.
as Vince Clorto and the gatekeeper and the. What are your expectations?
I'm feeling very positive about it.
Okay.
I'm feeling very excited. I think it's gonna be good. I've already gotten some word about it.
Have you read reviews from?
I have not read reviews. I don't like reading reviews before I see a movie that I intend to see.
Okay.
But I've been getting, you can't help but get some
Right.
feedback, like on
Right.
Twitter or friends.
Yeah.
I've heard good things.
Okay. My expectations going in, I was really hyped.
Yeah. Okay, wow. So did that scare you a little bit? Like, okay, so when they came out with the news, this is the very first nugget of news that there was going to be a Ghostbusters reboot.
Yeah.
What was your initial reaction? Like, excitement? Were you like, no, don't do it?
Don't ruin my childhood. No. When the original cast started putting in their 2 cents that they were supporting the movie,
Yeah.
especially Bill Murray, I was like, okay, well, there must be something here.
So you were very excited about it. You were just like, yeah, all for the reboot, let's do this.
Yeah, and then as sort of the hate and pure filth of the internet just started attacking the movie, I felt really bad because it's like, well, you didn't really see it yet, and you
Yeah,
give it
that
a
was
chance.
unwarranted. People give the first trailer a hard time, but I very much enjoyed the trailer. I really don't understand where that hate came from.
Well, when I first saw the trailer, I was kind of like, all right.
Okay, you were not excited about it?
I was excited to see what it was going to look like.
Yeah.
It felt a little uneven.
Okay.
I wasn't like, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And I wasn't the opposite where I was like,
Right.
no.
Okay, all right.
I was like, okay, cool, they're trying something. I don't really understand the hate.
It was kind of unprecedented because, and unwarranted, I think, because of the cast. The cast has proven themselves in other projects.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that came from. But
And the director, too.
Right.
He's had a pretty good track record, at least with Melissa McCarthy.
Right. He's done Spy, which was phenomenal.
Spy was great. And I actually feel like Melissa McCarthy works the strongest when she's with Paul Feig. Because there are other movies where she's doing her Melissa McCarthy thing, and they're not as good, like Identity Thief or The Boss, I heard, which was terrible, apparently.
Yeah, I heard not good things about that.
Yeah, but when she's working with that guy, and I think she's sort of his muse in a way, I think it blends well. Going in a second time, so I'm going to see like if I still have the same reaction I did the first time, or if like things that bothered me about the movie will sort of go away.
Themselves.
Yeah, I missed the. That's okay. You can't help but think about the original because it is titled Ghostbusters.
Of course, yeah.
You know?
So it's just begging for those comparisons, and they know they have to please fans.
Right. Yeah, and there has to be a bit of fan service for the movie, right? My hope was that the performances were strong enough,
right,
that it carried the movie, and I will let you know once Aireen sees it, because we're about to hop out of the car.
Yeah.
And check it out. So
I'm excited. I'm ready for a
glad
good
you're
time.
excited. I went in absolutely ready to love the movie. And how are you going?
I'm going in just like that.
Okay, so yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
But granted, I've seen it already.
Right.
So we'll dissect it afterwards.
Yeah. Thank you for showing us straight.
Because I wanted to talk about it. I was like, so then...
And then this part is... Oh.
Yeah. Bustin' makes us feel good. Let's go.
Okay.
We just got back from seeing Ghostbusters. I think Aireen liked it. Did you like it?
I loved it. It was such a fun time. Well, how about you, as someone who's seen it now?
I've seen it twice now. So when I saw it the first time, I texted Aireen. I said, it's good. It's good, not great. I liked it. I didn't love it. I think in the end, I wanted something different.
Something different.
As I was watching the movie and like the cameos of all the different Ghostbusters showed up.
Fun treats.
That combined, yeah, it was okay. Like, the more I saw them and the more as the movie progressed, this should have just been part 3. For me personally, it would have been a more compelling story if it was sort of the older cast passing on the torch.
Okay.
It's a retread of the first movie. You still get a giant monster at the end. The villain is bland. There was no real motivation for him. He was just like, I was bullied. Like, okay.
That's powerful, kids. Don't bully.
Because then you
get these guys.
Because then you're gonna want to unleash supernatural phenomenons into the world. I was super pumped. I was like, yeah. Let's it's a new era. It's a new Ghostbusters. Right. And then I got in there and I was like, that was okay. I'm indifferent, I guess.
Okay.
Like, I'm like, that's fine. It was fine.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know.
As you being a hardcore Ghostbusters fan, like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, but me, I'm not a hardcore fan, but I love it. I love, I grew up watching the cartoon.
Yeah.
I actually love the cartoon more than the movie. Well, I mean, not that, because I just really loved it. Because as a kid, I was constantly getting the cartoon.
Well, that's the thing. That's what the movie was. It was like a weird mashup, which some people have been saying and praising that it's kind of like a blend of the cartoon and the movies. Because there are characters in there who are very off the wall, off the chain.
Right.
Like Holtzman and Kevin are very much like cartoons. They're like, Kevin's
so
super dumb.
Yes.
And it's like, does that play well with what's going on? And everyone loves Kate McKinnon's performance. Oh, yeah. And she knocks it out of the park.
Totally.
But
stealing scenes left and right.
But I feel like at times she was being odd for odd's sake. McCarthy and Wiig, they were okay. They kind of dialed it back a bit to let the other two shine. Because my personal favorite was Leslie Jones. I thought Leslie Jones was hilarious. And people were giving her a lot of crap, saying that she's one note, all she does is yell and stuff. But compared to what the other 3 were doing, she felt the most.
She's a good balance.
She felt the most real, because even when McCarthy and Wiig were like spitting out the techno jargon, like it didn't come off as funny, like when Dan Aykroyd did it. You know what I mean? Like,
were you expecting that to be funny when they would?
Well, it just felt very textbook and like we're supposed to know what that stuff means, but like when Dan Aykroyd did it, there was a counterbalance, like a Bill Murray-esque character to be like, huh?
Okay.
And they didn't really have that, you know?
They had it a little bit. There were a couple moments where they're like, English, please.
Kinda. But like they would throw that to Holtzman, and then Holtzman would just be like, nah!
Okay.
I was like, wait, that doesn't...
Oh,
so
wow. See, I thought it all worked beautifully.
Yeah.
I loved how they played off of each other. I did.
It was just very uneven. Like, I liked the movie. I probably wouldn't watch it again. I'd probably just watch the other one. I don't hate it because it's women like that like they're very all strong performances.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I love the fact that there's a new Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
But I think I was expecting something different.
Okay.
Spoilers, there's a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in it, but it's a hot air balloon.
I thought that was fun because I think it included all of the elements that we recognize from the movies, and then, it's gonna end with the giant tormentor smashing through New York, so it had those familiar tropes.
Yeah, I see, and I think the familiarity just made me want that. Like, made me want Ghostbusters Part 3.
Okay.
I'm like, well, if you're gonna throw all these nods to the original, like, why don't you infuse the original into the story and make it more compelling? Because really, it was just about these two friends who like, they lost touch and like they weren't friends anymore, and like,
which is a great story.
It's good, but it wasn't enough to drive like what they were doing. I was like, okay.
Like, we all know that you love Ghostbusters.
I do.
You're going to be a little more critical of it, and I guess
so. Well,
I can see your points. Like, what you're saying, some of what you're saying, I can see.
Yeah.
But I love it.
When in the beginning, I don't even know their names. What the hell's the girl's name? Kristen Wiig's character. Aireen. Oh God.
She said it several times.
Oh
with
yeah.
An E.
So I was probably just like, Kristen Wiig's got a proton pack. Aireen was sitting in her desk and she found out that Abby had put the book on Amazon. The teacher or whatever, the guy from Game of Thrones is in there, and he's like, we need to do something about your attire, and she's like, too sexy or whatever. Right. And then as he leaves, there's a bust of Harold Ramis.
Oh, I missed that little Easter egg.
Yeah,
oh,
Harold,
that's
there's
fun.
a little. The first time I saw it, I was looking out for that stuff. Where I was like, where's the cool stuff?
I was waiting for the Harold. I missed it. It was early on. Okay. I was thinking, okay, this is gonna be a totally new thing. So I was ready for it to be totally new with a couple nods to the original. So whenever those came up, it was like, okay, fun, there it is. All right, cool. We're moving on.
Yeah, I took it the other way where I was like, oh, they're just redoing the same movie. I didn't like the bad guy. First off, he was a human. Spoilers. And then he kills himself to become a ghost, and then he inhabits the logo and attacks New York. The reason why he feels like he should unleash upon these spirits who have been tortured is because he was bullied. He was bullied,
and he feels like he's going to lead the oppressed.
Yeah.
Who have gone on to the other side, unavenged. Okay, so I'm actually very forgiving of that.
Okay.
Because for some reason, this is obviously, it's gonna get a sequel. It's probably gonna get a sequel, right? This is the era where every movie that comes out, regardless of how good or bad it is probably gonna get a sequel. So I kind of see this as like the starter pack.
Sure, it's like...
Right? So it's like, let's start with a frothy bad guy and focus on introducing these new characters.
Yeah, they did have like a training montage and something that the original didn't have, you know, which was cool. And
that was really cool.
They had cool stuff. And
all the gadgets. That was really fun. The ghost fighting scenes, like, how awesome.
Yeah.
How much of a treat was that?
You could tell that's where the studio kind of put their nose in and was like, oh yeah, we need to have like a big action sequence.
Hand-to-hand combat with ghosts.
Yeah, which like...
pretty cool.
It's cool, but like, you don't really need it. So,
tag in, oh my god.
So some weird paranormal thing didn't want me talking about Ghostbusters and shut my phone down. Look, you can read it. Temperature. Kind of.
Well, anyways.
The special effects. And that's the thing I was going to get at, is the one thing I did appreciate is that all the humanoid looking ghosts, those were all played by real people. So it wasn't CG. It was people. They had lights on them. So they didn't want
practical ghosts.
They didn't want the actors to react to a tennis ball.
I was wondering.
Slimer's never looked better.
He looks real good.
He was probably my favorite cameo.
Oh, fun.
Because he stole the Ecto-1.
He did.
And I don't know.
He went for a joyride.
Yeah, that made me laugh. I don't know why. Like, he got in the car, and then they showed the pedal get pushed down. Spoilers. I thought that was a good way to put him into the movie.
Yeah.
And then he was, like, him riding around the Ecto-1 was, like, the thing they needed to stop the ghost.
He did.
Yeah. Two things on top of the Ecto-1, and then they turned the reverse protonic or whatever reaction. And
reverse the stream.
And they turned the thing into a giant trap, and it sucked all the ghosts out of New York City. And hurrah!
All is well again.
It definitely captured the spirit of the movies and the cartoon. Like, it was a weird blend.
I agree.
Because, like, they had all these cool gadgets, which they never had in the first movie.
Right.
But the cartoon had all these kind of really cool gadget stuff.
The girl, the female aspect.
They didn't shove that down your throat.
No.
I mean, which I appreciated. It wasn't like, hey, guess what? It was just like, no, here are these characters, and this is what happens. If you hated the idea, and of a female Ghostbusters, or not even that, just if you hated the idea of a new Ghostbusters that didn't star the original 4, you should probably not see this movie. If you're already hating the movie before you've even seen it, then don't go see it, because then you're just going to be like, further proof!
Right.
But,
you're just going to look for the bad in it.
But which I wasn't even doing. I just I wanted to see a new Ghostbusters movie, and I did.
Yeah.
And there are things that I didn't like about it, but that's what happened.
Right.
Did you like Chris Hemsworth? It was weird,
yeah,
right?
He was fine.
He swung for the fences.
He did.
He did weird.
He did. I appreciated that about the movie. It seemed like everybody was given their space to explore, and some people might like it, some people might not. I enjoyed it. I wasn't laughing, but I was enjoying. I meant I wasn't laughing all the time.
You were just. I know. I think at one point you were just like, "What the."
Yeah, there were a couple moments that were like, okay, but I was taking it in.
I mean, he does have a knack for comedy, and he can do. I mean, those Thor movies aren't funny; they should be. But he had a thing, and they let him roll with it, which was cool. Again, it did feel out of place, right? It was a little odd. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people are like, he's the best, and I was like, no,
he wasn't the best part. But I enjoyed that. I enjoyed
when he covered his ears.
That was funny. That was funny. That was
that
really
part
random.
I was kind of like.
That was really random and funny.
If I had a pen or a stack of papers, I would have been like threw it up in the air, because he did a lot of weird shit.
I appreciate it.
And again, I didn't know if it was just to do it.
Sure. I was a fan. It felt like a safe space.
It was just funny
for everybody to explore.
I didn't laugh all the time. And that's an honest review of the movie. I didn't laugh all the time.
But I loved you could just tell the Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy, Kate McKinnon, Leslie Jones action, that you could just tell that there was magic there, and there probably was a lot that was cut out. Because of ensuing silliness.
What would you give this?
I would definitely give this a reels.
Yeah.
Totally. And not just for ladies, for everybody. This is such a good time. I can't wait to come home and tell Jeff, we gotta see this.
Oh, so you're gonna go see it again?
I would love to see it again.
Awesome. I did see it again. Is it weird if I want to give it a half reels, half wheels? Can I do that?
No, I mean, I feel like you can. Look, I realize that this franchise is very, very precious to you. So the fact that you even give it a chance, to me, is okay. Because if somebody even came close to touching Back to the Future, I'd be very critical. I'd be very...
Yeah. See, that's why
I'm probably not going to love it.
That's why I didn't realize how much of a Ghostbusters... Because I don't have, Ghostbusters stuff hanging on my walls. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I put Ghostbusters in... I would put it in my top 5 of all time. So it was a hill for it to climb. And it did climb the hill, and it planted its flag, and that's perfectly okay. So I give it a reels. I will give it a reels, yeah.
Cool.
For Reels on Wheels, this has been
Justin
and Aireen.
Bye!
Can't believe my phone is
I know, it freaked out on me, man. I think it's safe now.
Son of a bitch. So I think the biggest offense is they're in New York City and they're eating Papa John's pizza. You're in New York! Get real pizza!
Well, they need sponsors.
I know! Whatever.
There were a couple of groans in the audience, I heard.
Yeah. Yeah, there was one guy who was like, Papa John's. It was this old couple in the back, and I was like, see?